Hello, how are you students? How are you everybody? Video kana keessatti barnoota history qormaata moodelaa biiroon barnoota Oromiyaa barattoota kutaa 12ffaa bara 2018tti qormaata intiraansii fudhachuudhaaf qophaa'aniidhaa fi gaaffii dhiyeesse keessa gaaffii 10 qabadhee isiniif dhiyaadheera. Kanaaf isinis ana waliin ta'uudhaan qayyabannaa keessan fiixeedhaan akka gahuu dandeessaniidhaaf isin yaadachiisa. Question number 1. Which one of the following best explains the concept of periodization in history? Mata duree tokko afur jala periodization in history fuula torba jiru keessaa gaaffii baheedha. Kanaaf gaaffiin kun maal gaafata? Kanneen armaan gaditti eeramanii keessaa waa'ee concept periodization sirriitti kan ibsu kamiidha? A. It refers to a random arrangement of historical events into periodicities. Periodization is not random. It is a systematic and meaningful. Randomization, randomidha yookiin bifa carraadhaan kan fuudhamu osoo hin ta'in periodiin systematically wanta arrange ta'ee saganteeffamee ta'udha jechuudha. Periodization kanaaf deebiin ta'u. B. Periodization deals with dividing history into parts based on importance of the events. Yes. C. Periodization refers to arranging historical events based on time sequence. The arrangement of historical events describes chronology rather than periodization. So, C is not the answer. While D says that periodization is best known for its uniformity throughout the entire world, it says there is no uniformity in periodization. For example, Ethiopian calendar, Gregorian calendar are there. These are refers to what? Periodization. So, it varies by region and civilization. So, D is also not the answer. As a result, periodization means dividing history into distinct periods based on significant characteristics or major events like that of political, social, economic, or cultural changes. Periodization helps historians to study the past in an organized and meaningful way. As a result, question number 2. Which one of the following option represents the advantage of studying history as a discipline? Akka barnoota tokkotti history qayyabachuudhaaf bu'aa qabeessa kan isa taasisu kamiidha? Fuula lamarraatii dubbistanii argachuu dandeessu. Kitaaba barataa kutaa 11ffaa gosa barnoota history jechuudha. A. Glorifying past events to fit current political programs. No. Why? Because history should be objective, not what? A political propaganda. B says that tracing who we are and where we fit in human society. Yes, history represents the advantage of studying as tracing who we are and where we fit in a human society. C, focusing on wrong deeds to compensate victims of the past says no, because history explains past events. It does not compensate victims. History ta'ii yeroo darbe keessa ta'e kan qayyabatu malee miidhaawwan yeroo darban keessa ta'anidhaa fi amma bakka bu'iinsa kan kennu yookiin beenyaa kan kaffalu miti. Kanaaf siin deebiin ta'u. D. Confirming people to their present mistakes. No. Because history helps to correct mistakes rather than confirming their mistakes. Historyin dogoggora hojjetame sirreessuudhaaf kan gargaaru malee dogoggoraa fi badii yeroo darbe keessa hojjetame kan dhugoomsu miti jechuudha. As a result, B is the correct answer. Studying history helps us to understand human identity, societal development, and our place in the world. Question number 3. Which of the following situations best demonstrates the misuse of history? Fuula lamarraatii argattu gaaffii kana kitaaba barataa kutaa 11ffaa barnoota history jechuudha. Kanaaf gaaffiin kun maal jedha? Kanneen armaan gaditti eeramanii keessa haalli historyidhaan karaa dogoggoraa itti fayyadamuu agarsiisu isa kamii jedha? A. Comparing past and present societies to examine change and continuity. No, because comparing past and present societies to examine change and continuity is not misused, while it is a proper historical method. B. Overlooking evidence that contradicts preferred historical narratives. This is the correct misuse of history. C. Studying historical records rigorously to solve current problems. C is also the correct using of history, not misuse. Using history critically is correct. D. Studying historical happenings objectively rather than selectively. This also the opposite of the misuse, which means it is the direct use or correctly using of history. As a result, the incorrectly using of history or the misuse of history is B. Misuse of history occurs when evidence is ignored or manipulated to support a biased narrative. Question number 4. Why do historians face difficulty in the sources as either primary or secondary sources of history? Barreessitoonni seenaa maaliif madda ragaa rag tokkoffaa yookiin rag lammaffaa adda baafachuu irratti isaan rakkisaa jedha. Gaaffiin kun fuula 6 hanga 7tti qabiyyee jiru kitaaba barataa kutaa 11ffaa keessaa kan bahedha. A. Interesting from both an eyewitness account and hearsay. B. entirely derived from the use of eyewitness account. B is not the answer because not all sources are eyewitness based. Madiraga kamiyu kan ijaan argame miti. C. Entirely gathered after the event has occurred. No. Primary sources can be created during the event. And also, D says that best known for their weakness brought by debate between the eyewitness and the authority says. This is a vague, not a core classification of the reason. As a result, A is the correct answer. Historians face difficulty. Why? Because sources may contain both first-hand or primary data source and second-hand or secondary data sources, which affects the reliability of the history. Question number 5. Which one of the following developments brought debate between the creationists and the evolutionists? Fuula kudhan irraati kan bahedha. Kitaaba barataa kutaa 11ffaa jechuudha. A. Publication arguing human species to its climate. This is wrong because climate theories did not create the major debate. B. The publication of the book on the origin of species of the Bible, it says. This also wrong because Bible was not newly published for the debate. C. The publication of the book on the origin of species by Charles Darwin. Yes, according to the Charles narrative, the survival of the fittest. D. The opening of an interdisciplinary institution to study the origin of human. This is also not. Why? Because institutions did not initiate the controversy. As a result, C. Darwin's theory on the origin of species introduced evolution by natural selection, challenging the religious creationist views. Okay, Darwin yaada ilmi namaa uumamaan kan argamedha kan jedhu sana faallessuudhaan ilmi namaa adeemsa evolve gochuudhaan tirannaadhaan kan dhufedha jechuudhaan ibsaa jechuudha. Question number 6. Which statement best explains why religion played the way the emergence of early states? A. Justified the authority of rulers to rule the people. B. Provided emotional security in the previous world. B is wrong because emotional security is secondary, not it is apolitical. While C says that prevented emotional security in the previous world. This is also wrong because religion usually provided security, not insecurity. D. Promoted peaceful coexistence among people. It says this is also not the answer because peaceful coexistence was not the main political function. As a result, A is the correct answer. Why? Because religion helped legitimize political authority, making rulers appear divinely approved, like that of Haile Selassie and the earlier states in Ethiopia. Okay, divine power idhaan muudamani jechuudhaani amantaan muudama mootummoota keessatti dhiibbaa gochaa ture jechuudha. Aangoon kallattiidhaan gubbaa samii irraa kan kennamedha. Fakkeenyaaf Itoophiyaa keessatti sanyii Salamoonaa jedhame baroota dheeraadhaaf mootummoleen Haile Sillaasee fi isa dura turanii akkasitti bulchaa turani waan ta'eedhaaf. So religion helped legitimize political authority that makes the rulers appear divinely approved. Question number 7. In what way did agriculture reduce critical role of hunting and gathering? Qonni akkamitti gahee adamoo fi funaananii nyaachuu xiqqeessuu danda'e jedha. A. Led to the production of a regular food surplus. A is the correct answer. B. Reduced daily societies of completely subsistence-based activities. No, because agriculture increased subsistence stability, not reduce it. C. Increased the wealth of societies by disturbing work equally. No, wealthy distribution was unequal, not equal. While D says that enabled society classes division by distributing wealth equally. No, because social classes emerged due to unequal, not equal distribution. So A is the correct answer. Agriculture created food surplus, reducing dependence on hunting and gathering. Question number 8. Which one of the following issue best describes the similarities between ancient Egypt and the state of Kush, Nubia? Kanneen armaan gaditti eeramanii keessa wal fakkeenya Egypt durii fi Nubia sirriitti kan ibsu kami? A. Construction of pyramids and the use of hieroglyphic writing. Yes. B. Absolute dependency on the Nile River for agriculture. No, because both depended on the Nile. This is a general geographical factor, not a distinctive similarity, highlighting cultural exchange. C. Worship of monotheistic religion marked by Judaism. This is also wrong because neither civilization practiced Judaism as a state religion. Judaism is amanta motummaa taasisuudhaan mootummaa amantaa irraa muudame gochuudhaani gahee uumuu danda'a. Kanaaf caanis deebiin ta'u jechuudha. D. Men's monopoly of political authority by marginalizing women, it says. Women held significant roles in both societies. For example, kandaks or king mothers in Kush. So answer is A. The construction of pyramids and the use of hieroglyphic writing describes the similarities between ancient Egypt and the state of Kush or Nubia. The ancient Egypt and the Kush shared strong cultural and political interactions. And also, both civilizations constructed pyramids, though Kushitic pyramids were smaller and steeper, as well as the hieroglyphic writing system influenced by Egyptian culture. So, as I have said earlier, A is the correct answer. Question number 9. What was the influence of philosophy for European becoming modern society, mainly related to A. Confucian influence of social hierarchy, legalism promoted equality among citizens. Yes. B. Confucianism spread punishment, while legalism favored social destruction. No. Falla kun. Confucianism favored social education, while legalism spread punishment. C. Confucianism preferred punishment, it says, while legalism favored moral education. This also reverse. Why? Because Confucianism favored moral education, not prefer punishment, while legalism preferred punishment. D. Confucianism stresses moral education and the human ethics, while legalism focuses strict laws. D describes the Chinese philosophy, not European modernization. So is not the answer. As a result, A is the correct answer. Confucian influence of social hierarchy, while legalism promoted equality among citizens. This option reflects the broader idea of philosophical thought shaping governance and social order, which parallels how European Enlightenment philosophy shaped the modern society. Question number 10, the last question. Which one of the following options best describes the ancient Greek style of artists? A. Abundance of fertile land for grain production. This is not about art. It is economical, so it is not the answer. Fertile land for grain production is economic. B. Implementation of inclusive governance system, it says. This also relate to politics, not art. C. Promoting exchange representation of citizens. Promoting exchange representation of citizens is not an artistic description. While D says that human-centered and realistic representation of artists. So, D is the correct answer. Why? Because human-centered and realistic representation of artists. Ancient Greeks art emphasized on realism, proportion, and the human form, that reflecting humanism and the rational